Back to that night when we were drugged with aphrodisiacs, my sister Madison Blair decisively grabbed Victor Hastings, the town's violent-tempered football player, and dragged him into the cornfield. In my previous life, Madison and I were both drugged at the same time. She quickly chose Kevin Sinclair, the promising honor student, leaving me forced to settle for Victor. Afterward, Kevin stepped up and took responsibility, hosting a grand wedding in town to marry Madison. Meanwhile, I could only have a hasty ceremony. Madison mocked me relentlessly. "You'll never measure up to me. My husband is going to be a future Wall Street elite." I never expected that after marriage, Victor would completely change from his former hot-tempered self, showering me with love and affection. He later became a tech mogul and the richest man in town. Meanwhile, Kevin got caught cheating on his exams, was banned from testing for life, and could only survive doing odd jobs. Seeing me become a wealthy wife, Madison suddenly showed up at my house crying, "My husband is worthless. After all these years, he can't even afford to buy an apartment." Out of sisterly affection, I arranged a job for her with an annual salary of over $100,000. But on the day she came to thank me, she killed me with a whiskey bottle. "We're sisters, why do you get to live better than me?" When I opened my eyes again, I was back to that night when Madison and I were both drugged. "Victor, come here." I watched as Madison, her face flushed with excitement, pulled a thin, weak man into the cornfield. Before leaving, she shot me a provocative glare. "Emily, in this lifetime, I'm going to live the rich life. You can stay poor with that loser Kevin forever." Soon, inappropriate sounds came from the cornfield. Looking at the man beside me with flushed cheeks and heavy breathing, I finally realized I had been reborn. In my past life, Madison had fallen for Kevin at first sight when he came to town as an investment banking intern. After pursuing Kevin unsuccessfully for years, she decided to slip him an aphrodisiac, afraid of being sued afterward. She drugged me too and pushed me toward Victor, the town's notorious troublemaker. With me as a comparison, the town gossip naturally focused on me. I became the slut everyone despised. Afterward, Kevin not only gave Madison a diamond ring but also plenty of cash. Our parents even prepared wedding gifts to bless their marriage. For a while, Madison became the envy of everyone in town. After all, everyone knew Kevin was destined to be a financial elite. Meanwhile, I could only clutch an old blanket as I married into Victor's run-down apartment. Seeing my miserable state, Madison said smugly, "You only deserve a life of poverty. I'm destined for high society, while you'll be stuck in the small town forever." But within just a few years, everything changed dramatically. After marriage, Victor became like a different person, not only treating me with endless love but also successfully starting a business in New York, becoming a tech mogul. Meanwhile, the much-admired Kevin got caught cheating on his SATs, was banned from testing for life, and could only work as a temp in Victor's factory. The huge reversal drove Madison to cry at my doorstep. I kindly arranged a high-paying job for her, but when she came to thank me, she smashed my head with a bottle. So in this life, she didn't hesitate to choose Victor, who would become wealthy in the future, leaving me with Kevin, who was destined to fail. Listening to the sounds coming from the cornfield, I almost burst out laughing. What a difference between a future financial elite and a hot-tempered athlete. I really looked forward to seeing Madison's regretful expression. "What? No way. I don't agree." When Madison announced to her parents that she wanted to drop out of school to marry Victor, she immediately faced strong opposition from both of them. "Madison, Victor comes from a poor family. You'll suffer if you marry him. Victor is just a thug, you can't marry him." Her parents tried desperately to dissuade her, but Madison was determined to live the life of a rich person and wouldn't listen to their advice at all. Seeing her parents badmouth Victor, she immediately said impatiently, "Dad, Mom, people change. Victor may be a small-time thug now, but he'll definitely achieve great things in the future. I'm going to become a wealthy man's wife. You'll become rich people too." Madison spoke with complete confidence, but her parents remained worried. Father Ryan Blair smoked his cigar, his face full of worry, reluctant to speak harshly to Madison. "What about your relationship with Kevin?" Everyone knew how she'd been pursuing Kevin these past few years. Hearing Kevin's name, hatred flashed in Madison's eyes, followed by a malicious smile. "Then let Emily marry him and make his family pay more for the wedding expenses. That'll make my life even easier." As soon as she finished speaking, Mother Linda Murphy slapped me hard across the face. "Did you encourage Madison to marry Victor? I knew you had bad intentions. You even dared to steal Madison's marriage prospect. How shameless." I covered my face and said nothing. Although I was used to their favoritism toward Madison, it still hurt. Madison was their precious darling, while I was just someone no one cared about. Madison was their first child, so they spoiled her. When Linda was pregnant with her second child, she desperately wanted a boy to complete her dream of a perfect family. Unfortunately, not only was I a girl, but I also caused damage to Linda's uterus during birth, making it impossible for her to have a son, so they hated me deeply. Madison knew Kevin would be poor in the future by forcing me to marry Kevin. She wanted to make me suffer for the rest of my life. Madison tugged at Linda's sleeve and said firmly, "Mom, I've made up my mind. Trust me, within 3 years, I'll be able to buy a sports car." Hearing about the sports car, Linda was somewhat tempted but still doubtful. Victor was the neighborhood's notorious thug, yet Madison spoke with such confidence that Linda didn't know what to think. Seeing me cover my face in silence, Madison threw several books at me. "Since I'm dropping out anyway, I'll give you these books." I was stunned by this unexpected surprise. Even though my head was bleeding, I immediately and carefully picked up the books and held them close. In my previous life, I was the one who got into the state's top high school, but the day before enrollment, my parents locked me in the storage room and let Madison take my place. I could only do housework at home, and every penny I earned was taken away as Madison's allowance later. When I accompanied Victor on business trips to New York, I was often mocked for only having a high school education. I had always longed to go to college. Now that Madison was actually handing me this opportunity, I would definitely seize it tightly. "Madison?" Both parents questioned in unison, but Madison just laughed lightly and said, "Mom, Dad, don't worry. Even if Emily gets excellent test scores, she'll still be my servant for life. Besides, even Kevin can't go to college. So Emily, this dropout who's been out of school for years, definitely can't either. She's destined to serve me for the rest of her life." After waiting at home for half a month, Kevin came to my house as promised to discuss the wedding arrangements. He brought a full $2,000 as wedding support money, twice as much as he had given Madison in my previous life. This generous sum made Madison stomp her feet in anger. Linda comforted her by saying all the money would go to her, and only then did Madison's expression soften. Madison counted the $2,000 over and over again, then smugly flaunted the money in front of me. "See that? Mom will always love me the most. You can spend your whole life being poor with Kevin. When Victor gets rich, don't you dare come begging me for charity." I couldn't be bothered to respond to Madison's provocation and simply waited quietly for the wedding to arrive. Knowing that my parents favored Madison and hadn't prepared anything wedding-related for me, Kevin secretly had someone make me a wedding dress. After learning that I wanted to go to college, he also gave me all of his Christmas notes. Looking at the notebook filled with dense records, I felt incredibly grateful. Thank goodness Madison was blinded by illusory wealth and riches, giving me a chance to completely change my fate. Ever since Kevin came to my house, Madison would curse him in front of me every day, saying he not only cheated on the sap but would also be a pauper for life. But all of this was clearly her doing. She had believed the rumors in the community that Kevin would abandon her once he got into college. Therefore, Madison deliberately tore up Kevin's notes and stuffed them into his belongings, causing him to be caught cheating. Later, when Kevin had the opportunity to work on Wall Street, she also ruined that for him, simply because the person who called was a woman. Madison pathologically cut off Kevin's connections with everyone, then blamed Kevin for being incompetent. Thinking about this, I looked at Madison with sympathy. She had been deceiving herself all along. Madison and I got married on the same day. Unlike my previous life when I married Victor with just an old suitcase, my parents were about to spend nearly all their savings on Madison. Madison's wedding dress was custom made by the best tailor in the city, and they bought her all kinds of jewelry. They even specially chose the most premium memory foam mattress to give to Madison. Victor's parents didn't contribute any support money, so my parents, worried that Madison would suffer, not only gave her all the $2,000 from Kevin but also scraped together an additional $1,000 themselves. In my previous life, they had me leave home with just an old suitcase, but this time they prepared nothing for me. If Kevin hadn't prepared a wedding dress for me early on, I might have been the first bride without even a wedding dress. When Madison saw Kevin appear at the door, she still couldn't suppress the resentment in her eyes. Seeing Madison's expression, Linda immediately turned to me and said, "Emily, Kevin is someone Madison gave up for you. If Madison hadn't been unwilling, you wouldn't be this lucky. Even after you're married, you'll be Madison's servant for life. Whenever she needs something, You have to come running. I remember your high school grades were pretty good if you get accepted to college. You need to give that spot to Madison." When I didn't respond, Linda slapped me across the face, completely ignoring the stares of others. "I'm talking to you. Did you hear me?" Madison said. "Mom, today is my wedding day. Don't get angry." Linda immediately dropped her aggressive tone and looked at Madison with concern. "I'm just helping you remind her not to forget her place." Madison smiled and said, "Mom, my future status is something she could never reach. We might as well cut ties now to save her from begging me for charity later. Emily, you can spend your whole life with that loser who'll never get into an Ivy League school." With that, she clicked away in her high heels, watching Linda's resentful expression. I finally made up my mind. I packed all my belongings and left with Kevin in the middle of the night. At the same time, Madison's shrill screams could be heard coming from Victor's house.